inside the region, and it may cut on the surface or periphery at least always maximum 2 lines by 2 points. So such type of regions are always convex. But in case of the right hand figure, there you can see that if you draw a line, it may cut the region periphery in so many points. There possibility of 4 points. So this is not, this is a non-convex region. Next, we'll consider ellipsoid as our convex regions, because we'll generate some ellipsoids and after that we'll create convex regions. But whenever we'll go for creating ellipsoids, or in case of 2D it is ellipse, we have to identify what is its volume, and so that we can maximize the volume, and that is the maximization of the convex regions or free spaces. So in mathematically we can define for any ellipsoid its area can be its determinant, that is determinant of A, where A is the matrix A 0 0, and this is came from this equation. This is the equation of ellipsoid. Now, why we go for configuring free space in a known environment? Because everything is known in the environment, it is visible to the agent by perceiving using sensors like camera, lidar sensors, and all other ultrasonic sensors maybe. But why we need to configure this free space configuration? What is the advantage? Because we have pointed out some points, that is without free space configuration, if you go for planning, then we have to check it in the next step whether my next step is obstacle free or not while planning. And also generating the trajectory, you have to again check whether this path is obstacle free or my trajectory is obstacle free or not. And optima in case of without free space configuration based planning. But if we go with free space based configuration, then we need not to check constraint, that is need not check the obstacle while planning, and also while generating trajectory. And also from the mathematical guarantee of convex optimization, it always reaches global optima because of in the local search only. And another thing is that there is a typical difference between path and trajectory. Path is just a waypoints, that is XYZ points, but trajectory includes the time information also. Now this is our working principle. So you can consider that this is a 10 by 10 environment, 10 meter by 10 meter in 2D environment. This is divided in typical grid-like environment, and this black fields, irregular shapes, is the obstacle. And there are some green dots. These dots are called seed. In this work we call it seed. So basically we are expanding these seeds and creating the blue ellipses. So once this blue ellipse is created, and if any robot plan within this blue free spaces, that is blue ellipses, then they can plan easily without going to check any obstacle information or anything else, because we have already identified the free space information. And there are some hyperplanes. These hyperplanes, here are the lines. You can see that these ellipses, that is the free space information, and the obstacles are being separated by a line. These are called hyperplane, in this case 2D. So these are just basically separating the convex region and obstacle information to make it more robust. And we have a publication based on this work. And next we can see, this is another pictorial information. Here you can see that there are so many obstacles, and the obstacles are cluttered here and there, but the free space informations are contiguous, they are connected, and so you can plan from any point to another point. So why these contiguous informations are required? Because if the free spaces are not connected, we cannot connect, we cannot plan smoothly, because it must be connected so that we can move from one point to another without any hitting any obstacle. And this is another three-dimensional representation of the same thing. And this is the contiguous free space generation, as I mentioned just now. So what we did, instead of considering the ellipsoids, we have considered the hyperplanes intersections. which hyperplanes are covered by the ellipsoids. So hyperplanes are created just by getting intersects polytopes. These are basically polytopes you can consider. So these polytopes are being created with the help of these hyperplanes, and these hyperplanes are getting. Is my mouse cursor visible? Hello.
Yes, sir, it is visible, sir.
Okay, thank you. So these are, you can see that VI5 and VI4 and all these things are vertices. So these lines are basically your hyperplanes, which I have shown in the last figure, like this one. Okay, so these lines are creating a polytope by intersecting among themselves. So the same polytopes you can think over here, and they are being connected and creating a path. So this path is, there is no way to hit any obstacle if any robot follows these paths. So this is the merit of this work. And here again another more detailed construction is given here. These are the polytopes inside the and inside the polytope there is a ellipsoid. So they are getting intersected, and you can see there are black dots are given here. So basically we are considering these black dots as a node of a graph. So we are constructing a graph from this information. So we are considering a graph and finding out a graph search path, and using the any graph search path and getting the path from this information. So once we get the graph, and after that we have applied the same principle in a maze-like environment, and we get a very good result. You can see with our algorithm we get a path from A to point B using the same search algorithm. But putting the seeds in inside the maze-like environment is difficult, but we get after training we get a very good result. And after these are the some numerical comparisons with some traditional algorithms and our method. The last one is our proposed approach, the safe and fast path planning, and bidirectional rapidly exploring random tree, and probabilistic roadmap. So you can see that in case of probabilistic map, we don't have any path in case of maze-like environment. And these are the runtime, different runtime in second. And first and the second column is your path length. And this is a formula to compute the above information. And T is the time, L is the path length, average time and average path length. And this we call this as performance index. And next we have employed this tested the algorithm in a controlled environment with the help of a crazy fly robot. And this is a small quadcopter in our lab, and this is the before going to the video of this experiment, this one is the OptiTrack. This OptiTrack is required to get the localization information of the robot. Okay, you can see that there are some markers on top of this robot, 1 2 3 small circular markers here there. So these markers are being tracked by the OptiTrack camera, and we can identify where is the robot is to get its current position. And this is our algorithmic performance in 3D environment in our lab. This is initially we have simulated in MATLAB, and later we have tested in hardware also. So we have some video for this this one. So here you can see that, and this paper we have published in International Robotics Conference, ICRA, Robotics and Automation. So the video shows a deterministic path proposed by our algorithm implemented in a 3D environment, and the environment is basically 370 by 270 by 70 centimeter workspace. And this it offers what we created, we generate the waypoints based on the graph search method, which the graph is created from our algorithm, and these waypoints are given to the robot to plan accordingly. we have created an intermediate goal also. So this is the MATLAB code initially we have generated. You can see initially we have created some obstacles, the vertical bar, randomly generated obstacles, and after that you can see there will be here you can see the ellipsoid is inside one, and it's a polytope is surrounding that generated ellipsoid. So they are continuously creating lots of ellipsoids, intersecting ellipsoid. They are getting intersected with each other. So this is the phase of free space generation. It is identifying maximum possible free space by expanding the seeds. And after that, once the free space, overlapping free spaces are generated, we are creating some undirected graphs based on the intersecting or overlap free space information. You can see here the blue lines. So this is a dense undirected graph. So you can grow from anywhere from one point to another. And after that, there is a simple graph search algorithm is run on top of that, and we'll get a path. So this is the path we get from the start to goal. The circular in the start and star one is the goal. There is the intermediate goal also. So it came from here first here to there, and then here to there. And once we get the path, we tested the same one in Crazyflie. This is the run. There are two runs. You can see the robot drone is flying over here. This one. So this is the online tracking information is also shown in the left hand side. That this is our algorithm output, first one, and the red one is showing the information from the OptiTrack. So OptiTrack is getting continuous feedback from the drone. You can see that it's trying to reach the waypoints each time. As there is no control, there is no such control algorithm to attain the waypoint at that point of time. So it is deviating, but it's trying to attain the waypoints each time. And once it will reach the goal point, it will come down. And the circular black circular portion is the goal point, but this cannot reach in the exact point. So this is the difference between the actual the algorithm generated waypoints and the actually executed waypoints traced by the OptiTrack information, the camera information in real time. So this is the portion. Another thing, we have also tested the same algorithm for a very large number of obstacle information, because this work is mainly generated for cluttered environments. So you can see here, so there are 10,000 obstacles you can see. Bottom one, that is 0, 0 position. The algorithm was finding or exploring the entire environment.
Dr.
But
Arun Kumar Sadhu, actually, your
yes,
voice is
yes.
splitting. Your voice is splitting
Uh,
somehow. You kindly check your connection, please.
okay. Is it okay
Now it
now?
is okay.
Okay. So it is generating a free space continuously, and you can see that it's reached its goal almost. So what I was trying to identify compared to our previous work, that in the previous case the entire exploration of the environment is needed, but in this case exploration of the entire environment is not required. This is the main difference, and automatically it is generating a continuous free space. And we have also checked that whether it hits obstacles or not. That one is also checked. You can see here. So we have checked. I'm just forwarding this video a little bit because it's too long. Okay. So this is just checking whether it is hitting any obstacle or not. This one we can see whether it is hitting or not. It's not hitting. So this way we have checked everything. So I'm forwarding this video, the same thing we are checking. And this was just a simulation, but based on that simulation we have tested the algorithm in real-time hardware also. So you can see this one. So this is the main motivation or flow diagram of this work is that initially what we have did, there is a dependency of environment resolution for selecting the seed or the from where the free space is getting expanded. So in this case we have overcome this point also, that is resolution independent seed generation. That means you can start from anywhere and determine the sub goal. There is a point where we can generate the sub goals, and it will continuously check whether my generated sub goal is my goal position or not. So if it is a not goal position, then it will consider this sub goal as its start position. It will continue this loop until it reaches the goal. So this is the basic idea. Now we are running a bag file. So what we have did here, we have just recorded some information of our experiment and running this one. So this is the SLAM information. SLAM information means this is a simultaneous mapping and localization information. So this is just giving you the position information. You can think position in orientation information. And this is from SLAM and this is from OptiTrack. So we are just comparing these two for our ground truth comparison. Now this is the view from the robot camera. You can see that what robot is seeing. This arrow you can think of you can think that arrow is robot. So it is moving and it's reached to the end point. So this is the view of the robot, you can see. And what robot is processing inside is that means how it's generating map. It's just creating a binary map of its field of view.